Hi, my name is Luke, and I just wanted to do a quick video about why I think it'd be great for the job. I love organization, and I'm going to show you some tools that I'm making with Cursor. I have this project where I downloaded all of my TikTok videos and transcribed them, and then also using the transcription and the metadata from the file, I had it organized according to the Dewey Decimal System. So if you look here in the DDS folders, the Dewey Decimal System is here. And then how I did it was I have a local LLM installed, and it goes ahead and uses the information from the transcript and then recursively goes through each set of the Dewey Decimal System to see what folder would be best. So first it asks, between the 100s and 200s, where would this fit best? And then it will put it in there. I'm also doing it for my YouTube channel and all this other stuff. So I'll send some other videos, but you could check out my YouTube channel. I love organizing digital information. And secondly, I'm creating a RAG or a RAG. I like to call it Stay RAG, but basically retrieval augmented generation. So I can search the content of all of my information and then ask questions about it, and then it can tell me the source. So I follow this girl, Personal Brand Launch, on Instagram, and it's tips on how to increase your social media following. So rather than watch all the videos in no particular order, I downloaded them all, created a RAG, and then I asked questions about where should I start, and then watch those videos. And then also it's very easy to just drum up a website, have it all be automatic. I pretty much can automate anything. Not to toot my own horn, but now with Cursor and the power of AI, I have the power of an engineer. So I included a video on some tools that I've already made. But yeah, let me know if you need some help and would like to work together. Thanks. Hey, it's me again. I'm going to go ahead and try to download your website and organize it and make a retrieval augmented generation, just because it shouldn't take too long. And if you end up doing it yourself, that's fine. Join my channel. I don't care. So I'm using Claude Code because it's much better. And Firecrawler is a good way to make LM-ready content. So I already have kind of Firecrawl set up, and I'm just using Claude Code to set it up and try to download your stuff. So let's see how it's working. And then two, on how to kind of do things. I'm not an engineer, but there's always best practices, and people kind of hate on vibe coders. So I have a way to work around that. So I'm going to go to my DDS system, and then here I have some Rajas, and one of them is RJ. He's an engineer who does engineering questions on TikTok and how to pass engineering interviews. And so he basically talks about what the best setup is in the industry. So I downloaded all of his videos, I transcribed them, and I created a RAG in order to ask questions about it, in order to direct my LLM that I'm working with in order to do it the best way. I know it's a lot. So I'm going to open this in Cursor. I use Cursor because I started with Cursor, and even though I'm using mainly Claude Code now, I still use Cursor sometimes. So I'm checking back on your project to Firecrawler. So let's see. So I use Olama to run local LLMs, and that way it can do the retrieval augmented generation chatbot. Okay, so we have your content downloaded, and I'm going to go ahead and direct it to do all of the links inside. So since you're an equity group, I'm just kind of thinking, I imagine that you need information about investing, I guess. One thing that I'm exploring is I think there is a way to automate Google alerts and filters on YouTube and other news sites and automatically download those, transcribe them, and then put them into a RAG. So potentially you could have an up-to-date database of what's going on in several places of the internet, and then search by subject, like tell me the latest about insert subject here, and you can know that all of your data sources will be indexed, and then you can watch that particular data source. So it's kind of reversing the funnel of information where manual review, has to come down, and then you get the information you need. And from a bunch of sources, it's more just what are you particularly looking for, and then you find the source, and then you can kind of go up the funnel, if that makes sense. I'll even send this to you because I like teaching and sharing information, and I put the lowest rate because, would I love to earn $300 an hour? Yes, but I think 150 is totally fine, and maybe a long-term relationship would be better in that respect. Just kind of a show of good faith, but if you want to pay $300 later, that's fine. So right now what it's doing is for the Firecrawler, it downloaded the information from the page, but it didn't do all of the content, so it just did one level, so it's creating a spider. My goal, my mission right now in life, I guess, is to teach people how to use this technology. So I could teach your team and employees or team members how to do this versus doing it for you. I could, of course, do it for you, but Cursor and Claude Code, they don't know what they made because now Cursor can automate the computer. So AI can now do anything, and anything is possible. And it's kind of overwhelming, but essentially with the ability to take screenshots and feed it into an LLM, it could essentially direct you to do anything you need to do. AWS, complicated things. You can just take a screenshot and say, tell me what to do next. And then I use ChatGPT, who I call Gina, in the call mode in order to brainstorm and get ideas and see if things are possible. Like, I want to make a tool. I want to do this. So yeah, so you can see here that it's starting to go through all of that site. Okay, great. So in the RJ Raj, I'm going to go ahead, even though I know, but just to show you, I'm going to say, what is the best way to create a local? Okay, so going back to your project, Princeton Equity Group. So you can see that it provided some responses, and so I'm using the Raj to help expand the knowledge of the LLM. So I'm going to have it summarize his recommendations on how to create a Raj and then put it on the desktop. The RJ Raj made a MD document, markdown document, and so I'm going to make Claude Code go ahead and make the Raj and then have a version where it can make a chatbot to put on your website. The actual request that you did was to summarize the articles. Yes, we can do that. This is just another way to do this. Is, that's kind of an easy request. So I'm just kind of showing you a little bit further of what I kind of got the energy of the request is. I'll go ahead and come back whenever it's working. This is very dramatic lighting. I need to close the shade. Okay, so the Raj is ready, and I'm going to go ahead and open it on the local host right now. Also, running it locally is probably better for security. So it worked, and essentially I can just search. It made all this by itself pretty easily, and it gives the sources from the documentation or where it found the documentation. So yes, I can summarize your blog post for you, but I think the fundamental or more foundational thing is I can teach your staff or team how to do this or do it for you very easily and apply it to other areas that you might need. And then your staff can do this pretty easily just with a couple guidelines on how to use Claude Code and Cursor. And yeah, looking forward to working together. Thanks.